It's so fascinating that you say that basically they don't see any difference between the two major parties, because this has been like the ideological debate within the Liberals ever since they lost the election, too far to the left, etc., etc. But you couldn't accuse Peter Dutton of being that. You couldn't accuse Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese of being, like for like, the same kind of people at all. So I find that a fascinating proposition, and perhaps a pretty scary existential proposition for the Liberal Party if voters in marginal seats that need to change hands just see Peter Dutton as like for like.
Yeah, it's because these voters, like I suppose most voters, they're not engaged in the political theatre. They're not engaged in the day-to-day political coverage and the minutiae and the analysis of all of that. What they're engaged with is the effect on their life. And the effect on their lives now over a long period of time, over different governments, has been the same.
So are they engaged in the policy or just the general vibe of things?
It depends. So they will get engaged on some policy areas where they see a particular relevance to themselves. For example, we know on nuclear, for example, when we talk to people in the outer suburbs about nuclear, they're really nervous about it. They're really nervous about it because their lived experience has been that both sides of the political spectrum are quite happy to, inflict hurt upon their electorates. Where do they think the nuclear power stations are going to go? In their electorates, in their backyards. Where do they think the waste treatment's going to go? In their electorates, in their backyard, because that's been their experience over multiple cycles, different governments, both persuasions. They end up on the sort of the wrong end of the boot on these sorts of things.
Simon, always good to talk to you. Fascinating 12 months or so ahead. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Laura.